Well, hello and welcome. Thanks for joining us. My name is Nicole Lamb, and I am a parent of a 16-year-old and a 19-year-old. I'm an educator, have been in the field of learning and training for 14 years, and I'm delighted to have Diane Libby-Hellar with me as well. Hi, Diane.
Hi, Nicole. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's great to see you. I've asked Diane to join me in conversation and specifically to help to offer some tips and suggestions for parents who are trying to navigate the pandemic right now with teenagers. I know I, for one, have struggled in many moments with throwing my hands up in the air and saying, what do I do? How do I handle this when my teen is finding it difficult to be motivated with remote learning? They're missing out on all the special things that are a part of high school and what make high school really special. There's being on Zoom meetings all day long, and that's very, very difficult for teens right now. So I'm hoping to gain some insight from Diane and hope that you will all find this helpful as well. So I'd like to first ask you, Diane, would you say just a few words about yourself?
Sure. So, Nicole, thank you for having me. This is wonderful, and I think a lot of people hopefully will be able to take at least one thing away. That's what I'm hoping anyway. So, again, my name is Diane Libby-Hellar, and I have been in education for over 20 years. I was a teacher for many, many years, and I've been a counselor for the last 14 years.
Great. Thank you. Well, Diane, I would love to just open it up to you to see if you have some suggestions or tips right now that can help parents with teens to navigate this time during COVID. What do you think's important for us to take into account to try to practice right now?
Great. Thanks, Nicole. I think the first thing I would recommend is kids just want to be listened to. They don't
Mm,
want feedback. Um, they just want an ear. They're really struggling with, um, having to do social distancing. They're missing out on, birthday celebrations, possibly a graduation. And they're cooped up in their room most of the day. And so I think the number one thing is that when you go in and approach your teen, if they're in the bedroom and they're venting to you, is just to listen and not give feedback.
mm,
And I think the most important thing would be at the end as you're leaving or getting ready to wrap it up is to ask them, do you want my feedback? And be prepared that they could say no. Be prepared that they could say yes. And then if they do say yes, then you can share what you're feeling. And if they say no, then you just have to be okay with that. So that would be my first tip. So I think the next most important thing is spending time together. So finding um, something that they like and doing it with them, whether it be surprising them with an Airbnb weekend getaway or doing a camping trip and telling them they can invite their best friend. It really depends on what their interests are.
mhm.
And possibly, I think a lot of families really want to spend time together. They just don't know how. And mealtime, I think, is a awesome time as well to sit down as a family.
Mhm.
And we used to, when the kids were young, go around the table, and maybe teenagers aren't as likely to want to participate, but we'd say, all right, what was your high for today? What was your low for the day? And we go around the table. And that was just a way to engage them in conversation.
Okay, I love that. Both of those seem like really practical things to be able to start using right away when you mentioned the idea about doing something that they love. You know,
Hmm.
what came to mind is, oh, throwing like a spontaneous dance party with my daughter and her friends outside. So I love that that can pertain to whatever, one's teens interests are. And going back around the table, we haven't done that in
Hmm.
years, so that's a great suggestion. Thank you.
Hmm.
Is there anything else that you'd like to to share right now? Anything else that comes to mind that you think would be helpful for parents to know or do?
Yeah, I think one thing's really important to remember is that their brain is not fully developed.
Mm,
It's not going to be fully developed until they're 25. So there's a part of their brain that just can't make sense of what is going on. And so I think as a parent, you have to have compassion, you have to have empathy. When you see that they're really suffering and they're in their room and they're locked up there for many hours a day, and you walk in there and they're kind of snippy and just have compassion. So
mm,
instead of anger, surprise them with kindness,
mm,
and you'll be shocked at how that will really make them think. When I have students come into my office, um, I think the number one thing that I hear them say is that their parents are they're getting angry with them, and so I had a parent come in on Friday, and she was very upset with her daughter, and her daughter had done some searching on the internet, and it wasn't. She was in. She was suffering, and so her daughter came to me. We had a conversation. I met with the parent, and the parent was becoming very angry. And I just said to her, I hope when you leave that you have compassion for her and not shame. And the next day, when I met with the student, the mother had taken that daughter out to lunch, and her
mm.
whole demeanor, everything about the way that she was feeling had changed.
Wow.
So,
Wow,
it,
that hit me right here. Yeah.
mhm,
Thank you. That one really hit me hard. The importance right now of having compassion.
mhm,
I find as a parent, it's easy to get angry right now.
mhm,
What about your assignments? What about you said you were going to do the dishes, you're going to take the dog out, and there's so many instances where it's easy to get frustrated with them
mhm.
and to lose sight of the fact that they are suffering and that there's a lot of loss and they're missing out on a lot right now. So that's very helpful. I really appreciate that. Thank you,
Yeah,
Diane.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, Nicole, as you were talking about loss, I think there's grief, right? So
Mm,
our seniors miss their graduations, and the kids that are in high school right now are missing all the dances and all the sporting events, and so there's a lot of grief that they're having to. They might not know it's grief; it might come out as anger, but
mhm.
it's very similar to just having these dreams and they're not coming to fruition because they're in a pandemic and they're having to social distance and stay away from people.
All right. Great. Great. So, Diane, just in summarizing, you've given me some great takeaways for our time together. Number one, I heard you say that it's important for us to listen and to focus on that more than giving advice. So I'm going to
Mhm.
have to keep that in the forefront. It's going to be tough, but I'm going to keep working on that one. Second, you said think about them sharing what are some of the things that they would enjoy doing so we can try to have more connection time. So not necessarily what I want to do, but what they would be interested in doing. And then third, and really again hit me hard was this piece around being compassionate
Mhm.
and trying to be empathetic to all that they're dealing with and contending with right now. So great.
Absolutely.
Three very valuable things. I hope that other people find those tips as helpful as I do. And I hope to see you soon in another conversation. Thanks very much.
Great. Fantastic. Thanks for having me, Nicole.
All right. Bye
All right.
bye.
Bye bye.